Hello everyone and welcome to Stan the Wine Man TV. I am your host, Stan Ratan, and this is a Blue Collar Wine Show where I help you spend your wine dollars wisely. We're going to look at Chianti in this episode. Chianti really starts taking off in the fall. People's diets change. They started getting into stews. Maybe they're eating more pizza for the football. Whatever it is, people start thinking about Chianti. Predominant grape of Chianti is Sangiovese. There's some other grapes they can use there. Caniolo, Colorino, Cab and Merlot are allowed in Chianti as well. The Cab and the Merlot came in later because they were trying to fight against the Super Tuscans, which always allowed Cab and Merlot, but could not call themselves Chianti. Chianti has 7 subzones, not including Chianti Classico, which is its own zone. It's a super zone, you could say. But there are also 7 subzones in Tuscany around the Chianti region. So we're going to get started right away with it says here he's called Maestro. I met Antonio. Man, that guy has, if I could even bottle up a little bit of his energy, I would be getting way more accomplished. The guy is amazing what he does, and a lot of people are familiar with small vineyards. This is his own Chianti that he makes, believe it or not. He's an importer, and he also makes his own wines. Guy is just amazing. Love Antonio. This is his Chianti. It is 75% Sangiovese, 10% Caniolo. Now this is one I hadn't heard of before. Evidently a grape they can use. 10% Ciliegiolo and 5% Colorino. So it has those grapes in it. It's $15. When you're starting to getting into this price point, and it's not a Chianti Classico, I think this is where it becomes difficult to get people hooked on Chianti, because these are great food wines. In Italy, they do not drink wine without food like we do so many times in the U.S. and other places. But it's all about food with the Europeans mostly, and especially in Italy. They sit down for a meal, that's when they break out the wine. They don't sit there and drink a ton of wine before they eat and then drink more wine afterwards. It's all about food and wine. Color on this one is fairly dark. It's in the reddish zone. You can see through it a little bit. Let's see what we get on the nose. Nice red cherry notes, a little bit of black cherry as well. My first initial thought was a little bit of black raspberry. I'm getting some licorice coming through on this one, maybe even just a pinch of tobacco. And believe it or not, I'm getting some chocolate tones on this. Let's see what we get on the palate. Pretty solid Chianti. This is 75% Sangiovese. Now remember, they only have to be 70% if it just says Chianti on it. It has to be 80%, I believe if it's Chianti Classico, and then Colli Senesi is 75%. But Antonio decided to go 75% Sangiovese on this. I like this wine. It for a $15 Chianti, I think this really represents what you can do in that part of the world. Dark red cherries, big time. Good balanced acidity, nice and fresh, a little juicy in the mouth. There's some energy there. The tannins have just a slight grip on the back end. I'm getting nice kind of subtle chocolate tones front to finish. A little bit of black olive as well. Solid I don't want to say Sangiovese because really that's what it is. Sangiovese. We love saying that, right? All the wine guys. Sangiovese. But nicely balanced Chianti, really. $15. Hard to believe. Front to finish, really nice. Like I said, it's nice and fresh, a little bit of grip. but good, nicely balanced, well made. At the very back end, you get a little tobacco. You guys know how nuts I get about tobacco. I don't know why, but when you get that tobacco notes in your wine, Really, really cool. This would be a great food wine, I'm serious. If you're having pizza, if you're having beef, any of those types of things, this is a great matchup for that. A rabbit would be good. Ragu. Boy, my wife goes, maybe you can make some boar ragu for dinner. I said, sure, why not? First of all, I gotta find the boar, right? Anyway, great wine. I'm gonna go straight up B. I think it's really solid Chianti for $15. Now we're gonna move up a little bit. This is the Carpenetto 2021. Now, what was the vintage on this one? Sorry to digress here. Does he have a vintage? Does he have a vintage? He must. 2023. This is 2021. Chianti Classico, Carpenetto. This rolls in at $22. Now, if it's Chianti Classico, or let's see, it has to be aged at least 1 year. If it's Chianti, just straight up Chianti, it only has to be aged 6 months. So that's the 23, perhaps. Antonio could age it longer if he wanted to. So this has to be aged at least a year before release. This is a 21, Carpenetto, $22. There's the label. I'm going to show you this. Antonio's one too, I think I forgot. All right, off my A game there. See what we get on those. So this is a little more gamey on the nose. This is a Classico, so it has to be at least 80% Sangiovese. No, yes. Definitely dark cherries. I'm getting just a pinch of dried herbs. There's some tobacco notes coming through. Black olive. I always seem to get black olive on Chianti for some reason. Let's see what we get on the palate. It has some sweet notes on the nose. Just saying. Just saying. A little tighter on the palate. It's not letting go yet. It's saying, whoa, whoa, I'm not ready. I'm not ready yet. Hold me back, hold me back. And it's going to bust out. You can tell that there's a little more complexity in this wine than in the Sanguinetti Chianti. I get, again, I'm getting chocolate notes. I'm getting dark cherry notes on this one. Some bright red fruits coming through on the back end. Nice juicy acidity on this, but balanced. It's not puckering acidity. It's just nicely balanced. Great for food with tobacco on the finish. And once again, I'm getting an essence of chocolate underneath. Definitely getting a little drier, maybe some oregano notes coming through on this one. And it's a grippy on the back end. That's why it needs food. Most of these wines need food. But this is a solid Chianti as well. Chianti Classico. Chianti Classico with the rooster on it. A lot of people look for that as a quality measure for Chianti. Perhaps at some point I'll get more into detail with that one. I'm not going to do that right now. But it is a group, of people, and there's some quality measurement in that having that rooster on there. So a lot of people look for that when they're buying Chianti. I just look for good juice, It just has to be good. I don't care what it has. I'm not putting down that, but I'm just saying there's no rooster on this bad boy and it's really good. So that's not always the determining factor for the quality of the wine, but it does help some of the consumers when they're looking for it, and it's a nice little story behind that. Solid wine, good structure, great balance, good acidity, little grip on the back end. Screams for stew, in my opinion. Lamb stew, anything like that would be excellent with this wine. I'm going to go B+ on that one. I just sense the structure is a little bit better. This one will age easily another 5 years. Solid wine. Now we're going to go into one of the smallest of the 7 subzones of Tuscany. This is the Boschiano Chianti Reserva, Chianti Rufina Reserva 2018. So Reserva has to be aged at least 2 years in bottle before release. And I know this isn't the right price, but I got a good deal on this at the store. I'm selling it for 20 bucks. I'm not here to sell you wine, but I believe it goes closer to $30 normally. But I love those flash sales that come up every once in a while, and I take advantage of them. So Rufina is a small one of the smallest of the 7 subzones in Tuscany. It has higher elevation vineyards, which means the Sangiovese can ripen a little bit slower, has a bigger diurnal shift in temperature. It's in a continental climate. So there's a lot of good things about Rufina. I've been a fan of Rufina for a long time. I think that it stands toe-to-toe with Chianti Classico, in my personal opinion. And it's not always priced as high as Chianti Classico. So, this is the Boschiano Reserva Chianti 2018. Put it back there. Let's see what we get on the nose. Color, ooh, this one. Can't see, hardly, well, you can see through it, but a very kind of a dark reddish color. There you go. Let's see and you can see a little bit of aging on it, not a lot. It's not super clear on the rim. Let's see what we get on those. So licorice, dark cherries. Get some sweet tannins coming through, some sweetness coming through on the nose. Again, I get like some sweet tobacco notes. I said licorice already. Let's see what we get on the palate. Wow. 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 I'm going to say wow. This is a wow wine. That price is not right for you guys that live somewhere else. Don't live San Juan Island. But man, talk about, if you wanted to introduce somebody to Chianti and you found it in the store for the price of $20, grab this sucker, because this is a great way to introduce people to Chianti. This has some really smooth tannins. I mean, it's hardly smooth by New World standards, but pretty smooth. Dark cherries, you get nice sweet tobacco notes underneath with a little bit of chocolate tones coming through. And there are definitely some dried herb notes on the finish. This is like a 10 in the delicious category. It has some grip on the end. That grip will go away with some food. Seriously. You have this with a meal, that grip will disappear and you'll have a nice experience. But even without food. I'm not in Italy right now, but even without food, this is a delicious Chianti, nicely balanced, well made. I'm going to go straight up A on this wine. I think anybody that tried it, even if you paid $30 for it, which I don't like to promote $30 wines. Well, I do promote $30 wines. I'm just saying, I try to find good values. This is a great value. At this price, it's a fantastic value. I think it'd still be a great wine at $30. I still think it would be an A wine at $30, just saying. There you have it. Just a little lesson in Chianti. I know a lot of people buy Chianti, and it's just nice to know what you're drinking. I think there's some people that actually buy Chianti don't realize it's Sangiovese. But it is, mostly. So that's cool to know, just that one basic fact. It's also good to know that the different levels of Chianti. The Black Rooster is a consortium of wineries that get together. They put this on there, and it indicates a certain level of quality. So a lot of people look for that. But you can find great Chianti without the Rooster. So don't entirely depend on that symbol. Just saying. Thanks for taking a little time out of your day. I really appreciate your support. I'm at, I think, 1,139 subscribers, so thank all of you for jumping on board. Spread the word if you're enjoying these programs. And I need some ideas for 2025. This is my first episode of 2025. If you have any ideas, any desire to see something or learn something or anything, let me know in the comments, because I'd love to air those episodes because I need ideas. We all need ideas. We do our best to come up with them, but it's always nice to have a few ideas, just saying. You keep watching. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you're kind of waffling a little bit. Then you'll know what's coming up. You keep watching, and I'll keep helping you spend your wine dollars wisely.